Okay, let's dive right in. Imagine this. A place where the genetic differences, right, between two people in the same small village
Hmm.
could actually be greater than the differences between, say, someone from Northern Europe and someone from Southern Europe. Just think about that.
It's pretty staggering when you think about it like that. Not hypothetical at all.
Not at all. It's a reality, and that's where our deep dive begins today. We're journeying into the really extraordinary genetic landscape of India. We've gathered, well, quite a few sources, research papers, studies, articles.
A good mix.
Yeah, all trying to shine a light not just on ancient history, but also, what it means for health today, even identity.
And what's so remarkable, I think, is how India's genetic story, it's almost like a living blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Of human migration, adaptation, how societies evolved over millennia.
A living blueprint, yeah.
So our mission today really is to guide you through these layers of ancestry, this just unparalleled diversity, and explore the implications for understanding humanity, even for things like precision medicine. It's a shortcut, basically, to seeing why India is this genetic treasure chest for the whole world.
Absolutely. And it's going to be quite a journey. We're talking Neanderthal DNA, modern health puzzles. We'll
Yeah.
connect some surprising dots. So let's start way back. Our sources say modern Indian genetics go back, what, at least 50,000 years?
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking really deep human history here. It ties right into those, fundamental migrations of modern humans out of Africa. India was clearly a crucial place.
Right. A key stop on that journey.
Definitely. And thinking about those early interactions, it's fascinating. Researchers found that people in India carry about 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA.
Okay, which is similar to Europeans or Americans?
Pretty comparable, yes. And they also have Denisovan ancestry, maybe around 0.1%, another ancient group. But here's what's really unique, and it speaks volumes about India's diversity. Because that diversity is so ancient and well-preserved, scientists can actually reconstruct almost half of the Neanderthal genome
Wow.
and about a third of the Denisovan genome, just using DNA from people in India.
Just from India alone. That's incredible. Like a genetic archive.
Exactly. It holds on to these ancient signals in a way few other places do.
Yeah.
It helps us piece together what our archaic cousins were like genetically.
That level of preservation is just, yeah, astounding. So much history in one place. Now, our sources also talked about India being a melting pot forged by ancient mixes. They identified two main ancestral streams early on.
That's right. The ancestral North Indians are ANI. They show links to West Eurasia.
Okay.
And then the ancestral South Indians, ASI. And that group seems to be unique, indigenous to the subcontinent.
So how did they figure that out? Looking back so far, what does having these two distinct groups tell us?
Well, they use really sophisticated genetic analysis, looking at specific markers in people today and comparing them using models to trace back, sometimes comparing with ancient DNA too.
Right.
Finding ANI linked outwards to West Eurasia and ASI being unique within India, it suggests a complex start. Maybe two quite distinct populations contributing very early on.
Okay, so two foundational streams.
But the story definitely doesn't stop there. These initial streams, they were later mixed. Significantly. There were major waves.
Like the Iranian farmers?
Exactly. Around 10,000 years ago, give or take, bringing new genes, maybe new farming techniques.
And then later again?
Later again, yes. Around 3,500 years ago, you see influence from Central Asian pastoralists.
Ah, okay.
So these layers, these waves of mixing, they were fundamental. They built up this incredibly rich, complex genetic mosaic we see in India today. It wasn't static.
It really is like watching geology, but with genes. Layer after layer.
Precisely.
Which brings us to today, and this is where it gets, well, really mind-bending. The sources keep emphasizing India is one of the most genetically diverse places on Earth. Remember that opening thought about the village?
Mm-hmm.
A major study actually showed it. The genetic differences between two people in the same village can be 2, even 3 times greater than between a Northern and a Southern European.
It's hard to picture, isn't it, like crossing a continent genetically just by walking down the street in some places.
Exactly. How does that happen? Such localized diversity.
Well, the scale is amazing, but it reflects deep history. It's not random. It's a direct result of thousands of years of unique population histories. Many communities in India, for all sorts of reasons, historical, social, geographic, lived in relative isolation for long periods
Right.
and practiced endogamy, marrying within the group.
Ah, okay. That's key.
It really is. Over generations, that practice preserves distinct genetic signatures, even if groups live physically close. So a village might have several such groups, each carrying its own unique genetic legacy.
So it's like a living museum of population history.
In a way, yes. It lets us study how culture and isolation shape our genes in real time, almost.
And India isn't just being studied, it's leading the research now, right, with the GenomeIndia Project.
Absolutely. It's a massive initiative,
Mm.
India's largest genomic project. They've already mapped nearly 10,000 whole genomes.
10,000, wow.
And critically, from 83 different endogamous groups. Remember, those groups where marriage is traditionally internal.
So capturing that specific diversity we were just talking about?
Precisely. It's giving us this incredibly detailed view.
What have they found so far? Anything jump out?
Oh yeah, it's already a game changer. They've uncovered over 130 million genetic variants.
130 million.
And get this, over 65% of those were ultra-rare, meaning they show up in less than 0.1% of the wider population.
65% are ultra rare. Why is that so important?
Because those rare variants often hold the clues to specific health risks or even protective traits within particular communities. They're often missed by studies focused on more general populations. So this data set is transforming precision medicine in India. They're building their own reference database, not just relying on Western ones.
Right, which might not apply as well.
Exactly. It means a much better understanding of disease risk for India's own people. It opens the door for tailored treatments, preventative care, really personalized medicine based on this incredible diversity.
So connecting the dots for people listening, how does this play out in real life, this link between genetics and health? Our sources mentioned a specific example, didn't they? The Sahara tribe.
Yes, that was a striking case study. The Sahara are a particularly vulnerable indigenous group, and researchers found these extremely high rates of tuberculosis, TB.
How high are we talking?
Well, far above the national average,
Yeah.
something like 1,500 to over 3,000 cases per 100,000 people. Just huge numbers.
Wow. And there's a genetic link?
That's what the evidence suggests. They analyzed DNA from over 700 individuals in the tribe, and they found two rare maternal haplogroups. These are ancient lineages passed down the mother's side, remember, N5 and X2.
Yeah.
And these haplogroups were completely absent in the surrounding communities, just found within the Sahara.
So unique to them in that area.
Exactly. The thinking is these lineages likely entered the group way back, maybe during the Iron Age, and were preserved because the tribe practices endogamy. And the hypothesis is that these specific lineages might carry genetic factors that increase susceptibility to TB.
So their ancient genetic heritage could be directly influencing their vulnerability today.
It seems likely, yes, especially combined with socioeconomic factors, of course. But it shows how deep history can echo in modern health vulnerabilities. It's quite powerful.
It really is. But how certain can they be? Linking specific old lineages to a complex disease like TB, what can be done with that info?
Well, the certainty comes from that strong correlation. The unique lineages present only where the disease is hyperprevalent. Plus, ongoing work tries to pinpoint specific genes within those lineages related to immune function. It's complex, definitely.
Yeah.
But finding such clear signals in an isolated group is compelling. And for intervention, it means you could potentially screen for these markers within the tribe.
To find who's most at risk?
Exactly. Identify higher-risk individuals for more focused prevention or early treatment. It allows for strategies tailored to their specific genetic context, moving beyond a one-size-fits-all approach.
That makes sense. More targeted public health. Now, we can't really talk about genetics in India without touching on social structures, can we? The sources brought this up too, and it's complex terrain.
It is, and requires careful handling, just reporting the scientific findings. But yes, the intersection is undeniable. There was one study, for instance, looking at 334 Brahmins from across India.
Okay.
It found a common paternal lineage passed down the father's side, this time Y-DNA haplogroup R1A.
R1A, and that's linked to?
It's been linked to early Indo-European migrations. You find it in populations in Iran, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan as well.
So suggesting an ancient shared ancestry.
Suggesting that, yes. But the study also showed later regional mixing, showing how populations interacted within India too. It wasn't static. But what's interesting is how it connects to social practices, things like Gotra and Pravara.
These are the traditional clan systems that regulate marriage, right, to avoid marrying close relatives.
Exactly, exogamous systems within the broader endogamous group. And the study suggests these ancient social rules, designed to manage kinship, actually had a measurable genetic effect. They literally directed gene flow over centuries.
Wow, so social rules have genetic consequences.
They leave genetic footprints. It's a direct observation of how social behavior shapes the genetic landscape over long periods.
And this ties into the broader point about endogamy that historians and geneticists raise. That practice of marrying within your group, often linked to caste or language.
Mm-hmm. It created strong genetic divisions over centuries.
How strong are we talking? The sources mention bottlenecks.
Yes, very significant ones in some cases. Analyses suggest about a third of Indian caste groups experience genetic bottlenecks.
Like the kind we hear about with Ashkenazi Jews or Finns.
Comparable in terms of the reduction in genetic diversity, yes. A bottleneck is when a population shrinks drastically, maybe due to isolation or a small founding group.
And that leaves a distinct genetic signature.
It does. Less diversity overall and sometimes higher frequencies of certain rare variants that happen to be in the founders or survivors. In India, long periods of endogamy and limited gene flow between groups often led to these effects.
So again, social practices in endogamy cast boundaries directly shaping the gene pool.
It's a really clear scientific demonstration. These sustained social behaviors, over millennia, they left undeniable imprints in the DNA. These boundaries became genetic boundaries too. Understanding this helps us piece together not just India's unique genetic story, but also broader patterns of human social organization and its biological impact.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the main takeaways for you, for our listeners? We've seen this incredible journey in India's genes right from Africa, encounters with Neanderthals, Denisovans, these ancient mixes shaping civilizations.
Mm-hmm. An amazing timeline.
We've uncovered this unmatched diversity, a real living archive, and we've seen the huge importance of that for health, for precision medicine moving forward.
Absolutely. And we also touched on that complex intersection, didn't we? Genetics and social systems. It raises really important questions, about how we understand genetic identity, the legacy of social structures in our biology, and what that means for health and society today.
It really does. This deep dive, I feel, shows that India's genetic story isn't just science. It's this profound narrative, isn't it? About identity, health, our shared human heritage.
Well said.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. How do you think insights like these from India or elsewhere might start to reshape how we understand history and belonging, maybe in your own community or even globally, as we learn more from our DNA? Something to think about.